Very good day, class 6. Welcome to the first session of our Gulmohars, part 6. Now we begin with the first chapter of your book, that is Gulmohars. The name of the first chapter is Meeting Suzanne. So children, about the author, I must tell you that it has been written by Sir Michael Morpurgo, who is an English author, poet and playwright. So the person writes very nice poems also, stories also and plays also. And he is best for his novels and stories for children specially. Many of his works have been made into films. So between the years 2003 and 2005, he was named as Children's Laureate. Who is the laureate? Laureate is a person who has been given a high official honor for doing something important. So writing the novels and being converted it into films is indeed something very important. So he has been named as Children's Laureate of the United Kingdoms. And he has won several awards for his work also. So we come to the chapter. Before coming to the chapter, I must tell you that the chapter is about the innocence of a child, young boy, whose name is Yannick. So one day, the boy, whose name is Yannick, let's read about him, flipping through his mother's book. So means his mother was a good reader. Now flipping through his mother's book, a young boy named Yannick admires the beauty of the countryside of Provence. Provence is a region in the southeastern France which is famous for its sceneries. So one day, when this young boy Yannick was flipping through his mother's book, flipping क्या होती है? Pages turn करना जल्दी जल्दी. So when he was flipping through his mother's book, he was just moved. He was just admiring the beauty of the countryside of Provence. Provence की जो side पर जो open area है, वहाँ की sceneries इतनी सुंदर हैं. So he was just admiring those pictures which was painted by the master painter Cézanne. And these paintings were painted by master painter Cézanne. He was a French painter and he was very great. He was a very great influence on the many artists of the 20th century. It means he was an inspiration for the artists of 20th century. He was very famous artist. So the pictures were made by Cézanne, who was the famous painter. So one summer he gets the chance to go and spend time with his uncle's family who lived there. So this boy Yannick, one summer he got a chance to go and spend his time with his uncle's family who lived in Provence. Yannick soon begins to enjoy his stay, occasionally helping his uncle run the village inn. So uncle, he used to run a village inn. छोटी सी एक small सी hut है जिसमें he used a restaurant type है छोटा सा. तो he used to run that and Yannick used to help his uncle there. One day, there's a bustle in the inn. Bustle means everybody was excited and there was a noise all over and means people were moving here and there and making arrangements for somebody. So there was a bustle at inn for a famous man, the inn's best customer. So their best customer was going to come there and the customer was very famous also. So comes visiting. Who is this man and why is there such a fuss about his visit? So you must be wondering, who is this man जिसके लिए there is a hustle and bustle in the inn. Everybody is excited for for their best customer to come. So let's see. That evening my cousin Amandine told me that I had to do everything properly because their best customer was coming to dine with some friends. So that evening, Yannick's cousin, who was his cousin? Amandine. She told him that he had to do all the things very properly because their best customer was coming to dine, means to have dinner with some of his friends. He lived in the Chateau. You know what is Chateau? Chateau is a large French country home or castle, like a palace. So this man who was going to come to their restaurant, he lived in a Chateau in the village. She said, and was very famous. Now, Amandine told him that this man he lived in a chateau, in a palace, and he was very famous also. When I asked what he was famous for, she didn't reply. So when Yannick asked her, why was this person very famous, she did not reply. What she did is, वो सिर्फ धीरे से बोलकर चलेगी, questions, always questions. She tittered and go and fetch the logs. ऐसे बोलकर के मन में बोली, मुंह में बोली हल्का सा कि questions ही पूछता रहता है हर समय. जाओ, फिर logs लेकर के आओ. So, whoever he was, he looked like an ordinary man without much hair. But I felt, let us move down. But I felt, children, it's better to take your books along with you because the text may not be clear with you in this video. So please take your books along. Right? Okay. Whoever he was, he looked like an ordinary man without much hair. Means the man has arrived and Yannick has seen him. Now he says that the man looked like an ordinary man and he did not have much hair on his head. But I felt very pleased when the famous man ate one of my creamy brulee. So what is this creamy brulee? It is kind of custard, dessert which is made of custard and it is topped with a layer of sugar. ऊपर ऊपर उसके sugar लगाई होती है. So this was made by Yanni. Right? This was made by Yannick, and this person, he liked it. He liked it very much. Now Yannick says that whosoever he was, कोई भी था, but I am very pleased. मुझे बहुत खुशी हुई when this person ate my creamy brulee. After the man and his guest left, we began to clear the table. So Yannick and his friends, they began to clear the table after the man had left. And I pulled the paper tablecloth off. Means they had spread a paper tablecloth on his table. So when Yannick pulled the paper tablecloth off, जब उसने खींचा, उसको clean करने के लिए उठाया, and scrunched it and threw it into the fire as usual. उसने क्या किया, पेपर टेबल क्लॉथ उठाया, उसको क्रश किया, स्क्वीज किया और उसको फायर में डाल दिया. As you can see in the picture that something has been put in the fire. For some reason, suddenly Amandine went rushing past me. एकदम से Amandine आई, भागी भागी आई. And for some reason she grabbed the tongs and tried to pull the remnants of the burning paper tablecloth. उसने फटाफट से क्या किया, Amandine ने tongs लिया, tongs like चिमटा होता है. So she took the tongs and tried to pull out all the leftovers of the burning paper. जलते हुए पेपर का जो भी कुछ बच गया था, she tried to pull it out, but it was already too late. Then she turned to me, but वो बहुत लेट हो गया था, यानी कि वो जल चुका था पेपर. And she turned to Yannick and said, "You fool!" she shouted. "You little fool!" Now Yannick said, "What?" I said, "That man who just left does a drawing on the tablecloth as a tip for Papa if he likes his meal." Now she told him that वो आदमी, the one who had left just now, he used to do a drawing on the tablecloth just as a tip. जैसे लोग tip दे करके जाते हैं, he gives his tip in the form of a drawing. When he likes our meal, he leaves a tip for Papa. Means वो एक ड्राइंग बना करके चला जाता है. Now till here you would have understood that drawing कौन बनाता है, painting कौन बनाकर जाता है. And that means he was a famous painter. So वो एक ड्राइंग बना करके उसके पापा के लिए एज अ टिप छोड़ कर जाता है. You went and threw it in the fire. और तुमने क्या किया, उसको फायर में डाल दिया. He is the most famous painter in the world, idiot. She was in tears now. अब बताती है उसको कि he was the most famous painter in the world. And she started crying. रोने लग जाती है बताने के बाद में. Then let's see what happened next. Everyone in the restaurant stopped eating and went silent. हर किसी ने खाना बंद कर दिया और एकदम से साइलेंट हो गए सब लोग. Then Uncle Bruno came striding towards us, unlike his jolly self. What is it? He asked Amandine. अब तभी क्या होता है कि अंकल ब्रूनो लॉन्ग स्टेप्स लेते लेते गुस्से में उनकी तरफ आते हैं. एंड generally he was a very jolly person, but that day he looked very angry and he asked Amandine कि what is it? ये क्या है? It was Yannick, Papa, she cried. He threw it into the fire, the tablecloth, the drawing. अब वो शिकायत करती है. She is complaining कि पापा यानिक ने ये पेपर टेबल क्लॉथ जो है he threw it into the fire. अब now Uncle Bruno, what he said? क्या उन्होंने डांटा उसको यानिक को? No. See what he did. Did you tell him about it, Amandine? Uncle Bruno asked. Did Yannick know that he sketches something on the tablecloth and leaves it behind for us? अब वो Amandine से पूछ रहे हैं कि क्या तुमने इनको पहले बताया था? क्या तुमने बताया था कि वो यहाँ पर स्केच बनाकर जाते हैं और टेबल क्लॉथ पर और हमारे लिए छोड़ करके जाते हैं? Now Amandine looked at me, her cheeks wet with tears. I thought she was going to lie, but she didn't. अब क्या है, Amandine जो है यानिक बता रहा है कि वो मेरी तरफ देख रही थी and her cheeks were wet with tears, और मुझे लग रहा था कि वो झूठ बोलेगी, but उसने नहीं बोला. No, Papa, she said, lowering her head. Then you shouldn't blame him, should you, for something that was your fault? अब पापा ने बोला कि फिर तुम्हें इसको ब्लेम नहीं करना चाहिए because you were at fault. ये तुम्हारी मिस्टेक थी. Say sorry to Yannick now, she mumbled, but it didn't raise her eyes. So now Uncle Bruno asked Amandine to say sorry to him. She said, बहुत धीरे से आवाज़ में, mumbled means बड़े धीरे से आवाज़ में बोला, and she did not raise her eyes. आंखें नहीं उठाई उसने. Okay. Uncle Bruno put his arm around me. Never mind, Yannick, he said. He said he particularly liked his cream brulee. Ab Uncle Bruno, you can see here in the picture, like here, that Uncle Bruno held his arms around his shoulders and then said, consoled him, और उसको बोला कि never mind, Yannick. And you know, that person, that famous painter, he liked the dessert that you made. That was your creamy brulee. He liked it. So you made it, didn't you? तुमने बनाई थी ना? So the drawing was for you. Really? क्योंकि वो तुमने बनाई थी. He was pleased with your creamy brulee and he made the drawing for you only. And always look on the bright side. हमेशा bright side means अच्छी चीज़ों की तरफ ही देखा करो. To look for good things in a bad situation, क्योंकि bad situation को वो अच्छा बना देती हैं. For a moment, you held a drawing that was made for you by the greatest painter in the world. That's something you'll never forget. वो बोला कि थोड़ी देर के लिए ही तुमने वो ड्राइंग अपने हाथ में पकड़ी जो कि ग्रेटेस्ट पेंटर ने तुम्हारे लिए बनाई थी. And for the whole life, you will never forget it. Later on, as I came out of the bathroom, I heard Amandine crying in her room. I hated to hear her cry, so I knocked on the door and went in. वो बोला कि जब मैं बाथरूम में से बाहर आया थोड़ी देर बाद, Yannick is telling, तो he heard that Amandine was crying in her room, और उसको बहुत बुरा लगता था जब वो रोती थी. So he knocked on the door and went inside. Then, I'm sorry, I said. I didn't mean to upset you. She had stopped crying by now. वो उसको जाके सॉरी बोलता है, लेकिन वो बोला कि I never wanted to upset you. तो by now she had stopped crying. It wasn't your fault, Yannick, she said, still sniffling a bit. वो बोली नहीं तुम्हारी कोई गलती नहीं थी Yannick. She said sniffling a bit. Sniffling means रोते रोते हम ऐसे करते हैं ना, नोज़ ऊपर करते हैं थोड़ी सी. So the same way she was just sniffling a bit. It's just that I hate it when Papa's cross with me. वो कहती नहीं, जब पापा मुझसे नाराज़ होते हैं ना, एंग्री होते हैं ना, तो तब वो मुझे बहुत बुरा लगता है. He hardly ever is. Only when I've done something really bad, I shouldn't have blamed you. I'm sorry. वो बोली कि नहीं 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 नहीं, मैं तो इसलिए रो रही हूँ क्योंकि जब पापा मुझसे नाराज़ होते हैं तो मुझे बहुत बुरा लगता है, क्योंकि वो कभी भी नाराज़ नहीं होते, वो सिर्फ मुझसे तभी नाराज़ होते हैं जब मैंने कुछ बहुत गलत किया होता है. It's okay. I wouldn't have blamed you. मुझे तुम्हें blame नहीं करना चाहिए था. I'm sorry. So both are sorry to each other. Then she smiled at me. I lay awake all night, my mind racing. Somehow I was going to make it all right again and make Amandine happy. अब सारी रात वो बोलता है कि सारी रात मैं सो नहीं सका because I wanted to make all the things right again. Soon I had worked out exactly what and how to do it. Even what I was going to say when the time came. अब एकदम से मेरे उसके माइंड में an idea flashed to his mind and he thought that I will make the things all right and when the time will come, I'll show the correct thing. So then, next morning, I didn't go for my morning walk in the hills but made my way through the village towards Chatiu. अब next morning यानिक सेज कि मैं मॉर्निंग वॉक के लिए नहीं गया, हिल्स की तरफ नहीं गया, बट आई वेंट टूवर्ड्स चाट्यू द पैलेस. आई वेटेड टिल देयर वाज नो वन अबाउट. आई क्लाइम्ड द गेट्स इजीली इनफ एंड रैन डाउन थ्रू द ट्रीज. कि चुपके से वो ट्रीज में से निकलता हुआ चाट्यू की तरफ चला गया. देयर, सराउंडेड बाय द वास्ट एंड थ्रेटनिंग फॉरेस्ट ऑन ऑल द साइड्स, was an old man with very little hair who had come to the inn. वहाँ जाकर थी उसको actually वो he had gone to the famous artist's house, Suzanne's house. Suzanne's palace में गया था वो, and he was sitting between the threatening forest. डरावने से forest के center में वो बैठा था. And he was sitting alone on the steps in the sunshine and sketching. So आराम से sketches बना रहा था. Sun was shining brightly. I approached as silently as I could, but somehow I must have disturbed him. He looked up, shading his eyes against the sun. "Hello, young man," he said. Now that I was this close to him, and I could see he was indeed very old, but his eyes were young, bright and searching. So क्या है? This boy had approached that person, Mr. Suzanne, and he went there very silently, but he disturbed him. And eyes के ऊपर ऐसे shade करते हुए, because it was bright sunshine, shade करते हुए, he looked at the boy and asked him, "Yes, hello, young man." Now he was very close to him, and the person was very old, but his eyes were shining brightly. "Are you Monsieur Suzanne, the famous painter?" I asked. He seemed a little puzzled, so I went on. "My mother says you are the greatest painter in the world." So क्या है? जाकर उससे पूछता है कि "Are you Mr. Suzanne?" Then he said कि मेरी मम्मा ने बताया था कि you are the greatest painter in the world. He smiled and then laughed. "I think your mother's probably right," he said. "You clearly have a wise mother, but why did she let a young lad like you come wandering here on this own?" So the person smiles at him and says, "Yes, your mother has told you the right thing, but okay, your mother is a very wise mother, but why your mother let you, a young boy, come here? Why are you roaming in this forest alone? That also alone. आपकी मम्मा ने आपको allow कैसे किया?" I explained why I had come and what I wanted. So Yannick told him that why he had come there and what he wanted. Actually, he wanted the same picture to be drawn, new drawing to be drawn. He looked at me with furrowed brows and said, "I remember you now from the last night. Of course, I'll draw another picture for Bruno. What would he like?" "No, better still, what would you like?" अब क्या है? After knowing the whole story, now this old man, the painter, told her that okay, I'll make a painting for Mr. Bruno. Then he said, "No, Mr. Bruno ki nahi, because I liked your creamy, that creamy brulee. So I'll make a painting for you. What would you like?" "I like sailing boats," I said. "Can you do boats?" बोला मुझे sailing boats बहुत अच्छी लगती हैं. "Can you draw the boats?" "I'll try," he replied with a smile. It didn't take him long. He drew fast, never once looking up. But as he worked, he asked me about where I had seen sailing boats, about where I lived in Paris. He said he loved Paris and sailing boats too. So, उसने ज़्यादा देर नहीं लगाई बनाने के लिए, बहुत थोड़ी सी देर में उसने बना दी. But while drawing करते समय, he asked him a few questions like, अच्छा मैंने कहाँ पर sailing boats देखी हैं, अच्छा मैं पेरिस में कहाँ रहता था, और and he told that he also loved Paris and sailing boats. So ये बातें करते करते, while talking about the boats, there he said, tearing the sheet from his sketchbook and showing me. इतनी देर में उन्होंने sketchbook से paper फाड़ा और उसको दे दिया. And what do you think? 4 sailing boats were racing over the sea out and beyond a lighthouse, just as I had seen them in Brittany. So it was very original like जैसा कि उसने पेरिस में देखा था, ब्रिटानी में देखा था, the same way 4 sailing boats were racing over the sea. Racing over means sea के ऊपर चल रही थी, and there was a lighthouse also, and the same true picture is there in Brittany. But I saw he had signed it Picasso. उन्होंने उसको साइन क्या किया? पिकासो नीचे सिग्नेचर्स किए पिकासो की. I thought your name was Suzanne. The boy said कि मुझे तो लगा था कि आपका नाम Suzanne है. He smiled up at me. How I wish it was, he said sadly. Then he added, off you go now. बोला कि काश ये होता, और बोले कि now you make go. Oh, now we must do the text part, exercises part. Yannick. Yes, children, take your pencils. Yes, hope you have taken your pencils now. Yannick threw the tablecloth into the fire because, why? Because he always did this when he cleaned the table. He was not careless, he always did this. Uncle Bruno was angry with Amandine because she blamed Yannick unfairly for the ruined tablecloth. She was not fair. According to Uncle Bruno, the unforgettable thing that had happened to Yannick was, what was that? That a great artist had made him a painting to show his appreciation for Yannick's efforts. ठीक है, this would be the unforgettable thing, जो वो कभी भूल नहीं पाएगा. Fourth one, Uncle Bruno asked Yannick to always look on the bright side of the things. Why? Because doing so would change a bad situation. Bad situation को good situation बना देता है, अगर आप अच्छी चीज़ की तरफ देखते हो तो. The artist did not get angry at Yannick for not recognizing him because, क्यों गुस्सा नहीं आया उसको? Because he was touched by Yannick's innocence and his earnest attempt to set things right. चीज़ें ठीक करने के लिए उसको हमेशा उसको उसकी innocence पर उसको अच्छा लगा. Now children, come to the next page, grammar and usage. We have already done in class 4 and 5 kinds of noun, common noun, proper noun, collective noun, abstract noun. If you don't remember it, you can go to the links of nouns of class 5 and you'll get to know all the things. Now we have to do the exercise part based on the nouns. Come to the next page. Here. Here children, say which kind of noun the highlighted words are. So first one, we stopped on our way to admire a beautiful rainbow across a waterfall. So rain plus bow becomes a compound noun. Water plus fall becomes a compound noun. So these both are the compound nouns which are in red color. Next one, in cold places, people still use coal and firewood for heat. So coal is common noun, firewood compound, and heat is the abstract noun which can be felt. Third one, Skyway Airlines has placed an order for a new fleet of aircraft. Skyway Airlines is the proper noun, fleet is the collective noun. Fourth, the intelligence of the fox is described in old stories as cunning. So intelligence and cunning both are abstract nouns. We must add some watermelon to the fruit salad. So water plus melon, watermelon. Fruit plus salad, fruit salad. So they both are compound nouns. The highway is closed because they are laying it with tar. So high plus way, compound noun. Tar is common noun. The audience cheered with excitement when the actors came on the stage. So audience is collective. Excitement is abstract noun. Hope it's clear to you. You remember all the things? Now children, we have countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Study this table carefully. Singular countable nouns. Countable nouns के लिए वो जो singular होते हैं, which are one in number, for them we use a, an, every, either, neither, each, another, this, that. This is for singular countable noun. एक countable noun के लिए हम ये words लगाते हैं. Second is singular uncountable noun, जो count नहीं कर सकते. For those things we write much, a little, less, this, that. This is for uncountable nouns. Much, a little, less, this, that. Okay. Then plural countable nouns. Plural जिनको हम count कर सकते हैं. Many, both, a few, several, these, those, 2, 3, etc. These are the plural countable nouns. You need to learn them, beta. Common to uncountable and uncountable. The common nouns, the common ones which are common to the nouns which are common to determiners, which are common to both countable and uncountable nouns, which are common to both singular and plural nouns. Essay determiners. These are the determiners like some, any, enough, the, no, which, what, my, your, etc. Children, there was not enough time to compare the test paper. We have received several replies from our email. Much replies तो नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि replies can be counted, so there are several. Dash people understand the importance of being punctual. Much? Yeah, few. Few. Because much is used for uncountable. People can be counted. There aren't dash buttons on the shirt. Children, some is used for positive sentences, any is used for negative sentences. So we will use any as there is aren't. Can you pass me dash shirt please? Can you pass me another shirt please? दूसरी shirt देना मुझे. Either तो नहीं हो सकता ना कि दोनों में से एक दे दो. Can you pass me another shirt please? If we lose weight, there is little pressure on the back and knees. अगर हम weight lose करते हैं तो थोड़ा सा pressure back और knees पर आता है. Right? Now, come to the next page. Words in use. Yes. So, find single words from the text which mean the same as these. So, crushed noisily is scrunched. The small amount or parts that remain of something when most of it has been destroyed, that is remnants. Walking while taking long firm steps, that is striding. Said something in quiet voice such that the words weren't clear, that is mumbled. Frightening in appearance, that is threatening. Okay. Now come to the B part on the same page. Here you can see the meanings of look expressions. Like look up to means to admire someone. Look like the cat that ate the canary means to look very pleased and satisfied with oneself only. अपने आप से बहुत खुश होना. Look to one's laurels to make an extra effort in order to succeed. कुछ करने के लिए extra काम करना, that is look to one's laurels. Look high and low means हर तरफ देखना. Look in every possible place. From the looks of the things means इन चीज़ों को देखने से ऐसा लगता है. Based on how things look now and seem to appear. Now based on these we have an exercise here. When Jiten found out that he was the only one who had solved the puzzle, he looked like the cat that ate the canary means he looked very pleased and satisfied with oneself. Second, the supplies haven't arrived yet and the workmen are away for the weekend. From the looks of it, we will be able to finish painting the house only next week. इन चीज़ों से ऐसे लगता है, means from the looks of it. Then I couldn't find the book even though I looked high and low for it. Means मैंने सब जगह देख लिया, in every place possible, फिर भी नहीं मिली. As the participants in this year's dance auditions are all very good, I will have to look to my laurels. Means मुझे extra effort लगाना पड़ेगा if I want to make my impression upon the judges. I think he